Thank you so much. It's been a day of deliberations and celebrating women and their stories, resilience, achievements. And here we have a panel that will again talk about the resilience part of it. We have 3 women leaders who have achieved, who have made their mark in their individual fields. And of course, it's not been an easy journey for them. They have been through a lot in this so-called man-dominated world. Meetu, starting with you. I mean, in your professional journey, it may start with, what has been the story of a woman making her mark? What have you overcome when it comes to dealing with the gender bias that we talk of very often? Yeah. Yeah?
Thank you. I come from a very conservative family itself, Rohel, right? So the way we were brought up, we were told that you will get best of the education, but whether you will have a career or not will depend a lot on your future family. So we were brought up with a sense that you can definitely work, but in case your future family says that that's not the priority, then family always have to be prioritized. So that was the upbringing. But when I finished my education, I laid just one condition with my father, that let me work for about a year, and then after that, whoever you tell me to get married to, I'll get married to him. But I really, really want a career. So, okay, if not career, just a job, but let me work for a year. And I started working. And just to give you statistics, I started working on 9 June 2001. And I got married on 31st May 2002. So it was literally 1 year that I got. But the best part was the future family, right? So they were very supportive. And once when I was engaged to my husband, and I asked him, what do you think of working women? Do you think it's okay if I continue working? And he says, please, I don't want calls every day at 5 p.m. asking that when are you coming home? So please have a life of your own and let me have one. So that was such a blessing. And thereon, it has been something which is, no looking back. Of course, then the next milestone that a woman hits, motherhood. So when I became mother for the first time, it was my choice to move out of the corporate world because I thought, now my baby needs my time. And that's when the same man who has brought me up saying that your family comes first, which is my father, comes up and says, you're not leaving your career. I will take care of your baby, but you will go to work because I can see you're much happier when you're working. So it just, the whole ecosystem, worked very much in our favor. And I think that's the biggest message that I would want to give to everybody. That, social conditioning, challenges, all that will keep coming. But if you really believe in it and invest in your overall ecosystem, things definitely work out for you. And, eventually I went on to lead the world's largest rating agency's marketing and communication before choosing to become an entrepreneur, right? So that's quite a journey, and did all that in 15 years, which is, I was the youngest in the leadership team. So all that happened, and it's a matter of great joy. So I'll share more as we go along, but over to others.
Of course, which also makes an important statement that men, of course, have been part of this enablement, and of course, we will talk about that. Mridali, your story, if we could get a...
Hi, Rohel. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah. Pleasure to be part of this August forum, and thanks to the media team to have given this opportunity and to bring out my story and how we've shaped through these years. So contrary to what Meetu said, in fact I was fortunate enough to be born and brought up in a family where my father instilled in me a very boundless narrative of what a woman is, contrary to many, many Indian households, So the narrative was that of empowerment to a woman and no differentiation between a man and a woman. So I was literally raised like a son and not like a daughter. And that set a very solid foundation in terms of what I can achieve, not just as a human, but not just as a woman, but as a human being. And that is something which helped me in the long run in terms of the kind of decisions that I took, the way I looked towards my life, the perspectives that I set for myself, etc., etc. On the contrary, my mother was somebody who did raise me with, the typical stereotypes of what a woman is, which was a good part of it, because she always told me that while you are, a woman and you want to go out there in the world and conquer the world, but there is also this part where a woman is supposed to perform certain roles and duties. And I think that gave me a right balance of what a woman is, the way she's supposed to conduct. And I think that was something which helped me in the long run. Talking about going forward, coming from this kind of an enabling environment, in fact, my marriage was a little opposite kind of a story, though my husband was very supportive, but the overall...
I saw him clapping.
Yes. Yeah, that's him there. But the overall atmosphere at home wasn't really that supportive. But, as I was a daughter of my father, and I kept going on the path that I wanted to, and I had a very interesting checkered career where within, the first couple of years, I got an opportunity to make foray into international business. And at the age of 25, my organization gave me an opportunity to go and establish operations in China. So at the young age of 25, I was asked to go stay there and just establish and do business out there. And lo and behold, I accepted the challenge. And true to my father's teaching, I think I was pretty successful. When I went to China, in fact, I wasn't even given an assurance that you will come back and you will get an opportunity back home. So that was the driving force, and that was the challenge which I had to met out. And I think I achieved my targets 200%. So I was the frontline salesperson over there. And post that, there was no looking back, in fact. I came back to India, 6 months I stayed there, and then I was handling businesses for my country, for my organization in more than 20 different countries. So having worked in various geographies, the whole of Southeast Asia, really broadened my perspective in terms of the way I look at the world. The kind of, my most important learning there was what is floor for someone else is ceiling for some other person. And that learning is something which made me mentally very flexible, agile. I understood the importance of being adaptable in any situation. Like as Thomas Friedman says, it's not the survival of the fittest, but it's the survival of the most adaptable. And then it went on. Then as Neetu said, the second milestone for me was, as every woman faces, the quintessential dilemma of motherhood, and whether it's your career or it's your family first. So that's where, again, I was at the crossroads. I worked for about 15 years in the academia and education field. In fact, for those 15 years, I was the only frontline saleswoman in a team of 15 male members. So that gave me a lot of relatability, in fact, to the male community, and the ability to relate to their perspectives as well. So coming back to my motherhood, then the option was whether to join my husband's startup, which was in the field of environmental consultancy, or should I do something in academic and education, which was my field. And that's when I questioned myself, and I said that what is the choice I should be taking? I consulted a lot of people. Everybody said, that's not the kind of field for you. Infrastructure, environment is a male-dominated area. You've been an academician. You've been in sales in the education field, which is a female-dominated area. But then when I asked a couple of questions to myself, that what is it that's made me successful in the past? And the answer was my ability to step out of comfort zone and my audacity to embrace the unseen, unprepared. And I said, this is a great platform for me to join, and that's when, after that, there's no looking back. And today, what started as an environmental consultancy firm, we are now not just an advisory firm in this area of sustainable development, but we also build and design and implement sustainable infrastructure.
Right. So quite a story. I think if women take upon themselves, they can decide and make their own way. Of course, that's the story you have. रानी, असम से बॉम्बे का सफ़र, और हमेशा हम एंटरटेनमेंट को सोचते हैं कि यहाँ पे ज़्यादा एक गैप है, जेंडर गैप है, यू नो, हमेशा से एक परसेप्शन बना है इस पे. तो आपका असम से आना, फिर बॉलीवुड में अपना नाम बनाना, how has the journey, what all have you faced? Has it been easy for you?
Hi everyone, this is singer Rani Hazarika, and I would like to thank Rohil and all members to inviting me for this lovely occasion and event. So I'm from Assam, Guwahati. So मेरे लिए तो बॉम्बे आना इट्स वेरी वेरी टफ, और एक सपना था बचपन से मैं कि बॉम्बे आऊँ एंड प्लेबैक सिंगिंग करूँ. देन और हम 4 सिस्टर्स हैं, हम गर्ल्स ही, हमारा कोई मीन्स ब्रदर नहीं है. सो पापा के लिए ये चैलेंजिंग था, एक लड़की है और एक लड़की को कैसे आगे मीन्स और इस इंडस्ट्री में. सो डरते हैं, आज भी बहुत लोग डरते हैं इंडस्ट्री में, क्योंकि बहुत लोगों की बहुत अलग अलग सोच है. सो मुझे इस फील्ड में लाने के लिए पापा ने बहुत स्ट्रगल किया. मैं ये बोलना चाहती हूँ, अगर आपको कोई भी फील्ड में जाना है, सबसे पहले फैमिली सपोर्ट होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, चाहे वो फादर हो, मदर हो, या शादी के बाद हस्बैंड. उसके बाद अपने बच्चों का भी सपोर्ट होना ज़रूरी है, आई थिंक. सो मुझे जब आसाम में बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रगल करना पड़ा, क्योंकि फैमिली में कोई मेल पर्सन था ही नहीं पापा के अलावा. एंड उसके बाद मैंने आसाम में बहुत नाम किया, बहुत माशाल्लाह बहुत काम किया. तो मैं बॉम्बे आना चाहती थी कि मुझे बॉम्बे की इंडस्ट्री में, बॉलीवुड में काम करना है. सो पापा ने बोला कि बेटा आपने बहुत काम यहाँ पे किया है, और मैं हजारिका डायनेस्टी से बिलोंग करती हूँ. ऑलरेडी हजारिका बहुत फेमस डायनेस्टी है आसाम में. सो आपको जाने की क्या ज़रूरत है, ऑलरेडी यू आर फेमस, तो आपको फेमस ही होना है. तो मैं नहीं, मुझे बचपन से शौक है कि मैं बॉम्बे में जाऊँ, बॉलीवुड में जाऊँ. तो पापा ने बोला चलो आप 1 साल का वक्त देती हूँ मैं आपको, आप जाओ, आके आप जो कर सकते हो आप करो. उसके बाद अगर आप कुछ कर नहीं पाओगे तो आपको रिटर्न आसाम ही आना है, बिकॉज आपने ऑलरेडी किया है, आप यहाँ पे कर लेना. देन मैं आसाम से आई बॉम्बे में. मैं बॉम्बे आई तो 6 मंथ तक मुझे कुछ नहीं मिला, बिकॉज ना मैं कोई किसी को जानती हूँ, या मैं कोई स्टूडियो जानती हूँ, या मैं कोई म्यूजिकल पर्सन को जानती हूँ. मैं किसी को नहीं जानती, बस आ गई कि मुझे अभी कुछ करना है. देन मैंने एक रियलिटी शो में पहले स्टार्टिंग में मैंने, क्योंकि उस टाइम में बहुत रियलिटी शो बहुत ज़्यादा वो था, तो मैंने वहाँ पे एज ए कंटेस्टेंट स्टार्ट किया. उसके बाद जब मैं फाइनल में आई, आई वॉज इन सारेगामा 2010. सब उसके बाद लोग जानने लगे, पहचानने लगे, तो मैंने फिल्मों के लिए भी गाया. सब पापा ने सोचा कि नहीं अभी मेरी बेटी कुछ कर सकती है, तो मैंने अपना लाइफ वहाँ से स्टार्ट किया. बट अभी मेरा हस्बैंड तो साथ दे ही रहा है, और इंशाल्लाह ऐसे ही देंगे तो आगे जाएंगे.
So again, a point that men have been enablers, of course, in many ways of whatever we are celebrating today. Of course, men have been integral part of it. Metu, we have another 10 minutes, so let me quickly ask 2 more questions. One is, women who are empowered, who have the capacity to be independent, sometimes give in to a certain invisible stereotype. ऐसा होता है. For example, financially independent women would be earning, more in fact than their spouse. They'll still say, you handle my accounts, I don't know. I mean, so that invisible stereotype, how do we come out of it? How do women break it?
Absolutely, like stereotypes exist, and it exists in other people's mind. Am I audible? Yeah. It exists in other people's mind. It exists a lot in our own head also, right? So the biggest demon to fight is self. And fortunately, you spoke about financial planning. So I was working in a company called ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund at the age of 23, 24, right? And before that, whenever it came to investing, I would ask my dad where to invest, and he would say, Kisan Vikas Patra mein dal do, or NSE mein dal do, and also I would start putting money like that. And then I realized, oh, mutual funds and, you know, the importance and the power of compounding, and how a popular, like you all would have heard of Morgan Housel, right? So how Morgan Housel says that people in their 20s are actually time billionaires. You know, we can really do so much with our life, with our career, and with our money. And that really like kind of stayed with me, and I started investing. The whole power of compounding actually kicked in to such an extent that when I turned 35, I decided that now I want to set up my own, you know, venture. So because I was financially safe and sound and independent. So, you know, that time I didn't realize that I'm breaking a stereotype, right? But, you know, 15 years later, when things were shaping up in a different way, I realized, oh, what a big stereotype that I have broken. And now it has become kind of my mission, Rohel, that I keep reaching out to as many women as possible. In fact, I work closely with CII, and I have mentored more than 100 women through something called 100 Hours of Change, where I insist upon them the significance of being financially independent, because once you're financially independent, emotional independence kicks in anyway, and it makes you a complete human being. And like they say, you can't pour out of an empty cup. So you have to be full inside yourself first before you make your family, your husband, your bosses, anybody happy.
Right.
So that's that.
Mrinal.
So I think I take a different view. I think this kind of biases that exist against women are rooted somewhere in our upbringing. You know, so it starts from cradle and it ends in the grave. I would say rather it starts at the fetus and then ends in the grave, you know. And what bases the human anatomy, we condition our children to be raised as a man and a woman. We have these pink and blue boxes for boys and girls, you know, which I believe is not how we should be raising our kids, you know. There should be, everything is for everybody. And if we are able to change that narrative of what a woman is and what a guy is, I think turning that into, which later on turns into adulthood inequities, you know, in terms of the gender bias, and we don't even realize that how that has creeped in. You know, I'll give you just a small example, and certain biases, for example, and this is something which intrigues me personally, is that for a woman, the intelligence is somehow inversely correlated to the looks. You know, and have you seen a compliment like beauty with brains to be given to a man ever? No. But it's always the woman who gets that. And it always sets me thinking, why do they exist in isolation? You know, why can't they coexist? So this is just a small example of a bias which I am giving you, and many like that.
And we have developed blind spots to those.
Yes, we have developed. So I think that's where we should start from the childhood, and as parents we should take responsibilities of raising our kids in the gender agnostic manner, and do away with those pink and blue boxes.
I'm also wearing pink, so I was countering it. So quick, exactly. So we're just breaking the stereotype. Rani, quick words from you on कि women जो एक invisible होता है उनके दिमाग में कि हम शायद हमें पूछ के ये चीज़ करनी पड़ेगी, चाहे वो capacity भी रखते हो decision making का. How can we break that bit?
देखिए, मैं ये जानती हूँ कि हम जितना भी चाह लेते हैं लेकिन हमको पूछना पड़ता ही है, और मुझे अभी भी पूछना पड़ता है, लेकिन होना चाहिए कि हम जब कुछ करें हम पे भरोसा रखना चाहिए कि हाँ हम कर सकते हैं, और हम फाइनेंशियली जितने भी स्ट्रांग रहेंगे, लेकिन अंदर से जितना स्ट्रांग रहेंगे, फाइनेंशियली ना भी हो तो हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं, मैं इतना जानती हूँ.
All right, thank you. So Rani has 2 lines that she wants to pay tribute to the women empowerment up, and we are wrapping up the panel. Thank you so much. Yes.
तो गर्ल्स के लिए है तो एक गाना थोड़ा सा मैं गुनगुना देती हूँ. फसलें जो काटी जाए उगती नहीं है, बेटियां जो ब्याही जाए मुड़ती नहीं है. हो फसलें जो काटी जाए उगती नहीं है, बेटियां जो ब्याही जाए मुड़ती नहीं है, ऐसी विदाई हो तो लंबी जुदाई हो तो दहलीज दर्द की भी पार करा दे। बाबा मैं तेरी गुड़िया टुकड़ा हो तेरे दिल का, एक बार फिर से दहलीज पार करा दे।
Thank you so much. Thank you for this lovely conversation. Over to you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.